In this video, I'm going to share with you a shortcut to learning to swim in few minutes. If you're going on holidays soon and you're required to learn to swim very quickly for any other reason, you might want to avoid few common mistakes and learn a couple of strategies to get you going fast. But before that, a little bit about me. I am not a swimming instructor yet. I'm just a regular guy on the internet who learned to swim at the age of 32 and now shares his experience with other people. I practiced swimming in my first year for almost every single day. I learned to swim from various YouTube tutorials from Faris Sabati, Effortless Swimming, Skills and Talents, and Swim to Fly. After watching all these, I went to the swimming pool and I practiced and experimented, and number one thing was that I was making a ton of mistakes. I needed a lot of trial and error to make it work, and it took me a long time before breathing clicked and I was able to figure out how I place my hands in the water and how I position my body. And you know what? After 6 years now, I realized that I could condense all that learning to literally a couple of things to get somebody up and running in 5 minutes. Now, I'm not talking about being able to swim properly like a professional, all the strokes in a perfect technical way. I'm talking about the very basics, the fundamental of swimming in 5 minutes. I'm going to divide this video into 4 segments. Segment number 1 is which stroke you should choose to learn as a beginner, why this particular stroke is the best for beginners in my opinion, why you should stay away from other strokes for now before you get comfortable in the water, and why it's the best choice when it comes to exerting little or no energy and you won't have to be physically strong or be able to hold your breath for very long in order to swim in this particular way. Let's dive right in. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to assume that you are comfortable standing in the water up to your neck and submerging your head under the surface of the water. If you're comfortable with that, that means you can proceed to the exercise that I have in mind. The stroke we are going to go for is breaststroke. In particular, a little modification of a breaststroke that I came up by myself, but I'm sure there are other people who are doing this, which is what I call the lazy man's breaststroke. What I mean by that is you will be exerting almost no or very little energy to be moving forward. We're going to start with an exercise where you're laying flat on the surface of the water. You're going to keep your head below the surface and blowing air out through your nose. You'll see that your body will not sink. It will stay afloat. If at some point you feel like you need to take a breath, you simply lift your chin up just above the surface of the water and you take a breath with your mouth and put your head back down. You blow the bubbles again through your nose and get the air when you need it. You are in charge of when to take that breath. If you add to it small, gentle movements of your arms and small kicks like the breaststroke, typical breaststroke kick, you will notice that you can make a movement, like a gliding movement, without really exerting too much energy, and your heart rate stays low, which in turn lets you continue doing this for extended period of time. And what you'll find is that once you get comfortable with it, this is all you need to be able to move forward or turn in the water or stay in one spot. It's actually easier than if you were to float and stay vertical in one spot. So in my mind, this is how you learn to swim in 5 minutes. But that's not all. Why is it the easiest strokes to learn for beginners? Well, because it's the one that you use the least energy. You don't have to be explosive and fast. You will see a lot of professional swimmers being really explosive with their breaststroke, but you don't have to. You're on a different path. It's not the time that matters for you, but the ability to stay afloat for a prolonged period of time. So you can do that without too much force and energy. It's also because you get to control your speed and direction. You can slow down at any point and you can change direction and you're in control. You just move your right or move your left arm and you change the direction. Also, it's because it works in every condition. Whether you are in a swimming pool or you're going to be in the sea when it's quite wavy, or whether you're in a lake, it will be the most suitable, especially if you're not super confident. It's great to build confidence quickly by having an easy and quick win. And also because this is the easiest stroke to use when you're under pressure and start to panic a little bit. For example, when I went to the Commonwealth swimming pool, which is an Olympic size arena, and I had a moment of panic where somebody passing me by splashed me with a lot of water, I suddenly panicked and I thought I'm going to drown. And I used this technique, this lazy man's stroke, to compose myself, stay calm, and slowly get to the end of the swimming pool because I was a little bit nervous and shaky at that stage. Why you should stay away from other strokes? Well, for example, let's take freestyle or front crawl. Although it is really impressive and beautiful to look at, you have to be in constant motion. You have to keep moving. It's from A to B. If you are somewhere with your friends where you want to play in the water, stay in one spot or just move around and have fun, it doesn't really work because with the freestyle, you have to be constantly moving forward. Same story with backstroke. It's relatively easy to be on your back, but at the same time, you have to be in constant motion and you cannot see where you're going. So that's not very useful if you're going to have to spend some time in the water with your friends or family and you need to be able to see what's going on. If you're playing ball with the beach ball or whatever, it's impossible to do that when you are doing the backstroke. Why you don't need to be strong physically and why you don't need to hold the breath for too long. As I said, this is a lazy man's breaststroke. I came up with this idea simply because when I was going to the swimming pool every single day, I was so committed to learning, yet sometimes I couldn't stand it anymore. I was so sick of it and I needed something to make it less difficult for myself. So I came up with this style because I just couldn't be bothered to move in the swimming pool, but yet I still wanted to be in it. And therefore I started just to do it without much care. And what I realized is that you can still swim without putting too much effort. I just want to get through my hour of practice. And you know what? I realized since you don't have to put so much effort, you can actually have this really enjoyable and relaxing swim. And it's awesome to be able to do that. When it comes to holding your breath, the best way is to be in charge of your own breathing. Therefore, it's simple. You need breathing, you decide when to lift your head up. When you don't need breathing, you just go down and continue swimming. And once you learn to control that, it's going to be so much easier for you. You decide. And really, it's just 3 to 5 seconds where you don't get to breathe. But if you're in charge, so practice this technique whenever you get access to the water before you need to go or on the day that you need to go. And I tell you that you will be able to pick this up really quickly and learn to swim in minutes. What do you think? Let me know if you go into the water and will be learning to swim this weekend.